Hey guys, I'm trying the Rafflesia trial. It's very, very challenging, but I think I can get a 12-turn clear, and with this strategy, I'm, adjusting things as I go. So, we're going to use Graph to mod boost, we're going to use Roca to imbue, haste, and Magnus on Graph. That's going to allow us to shifted LB on Sieg and Tulian. We're going to immunity buff with Folka. And then we're going to use Diverty to cover and mitigate, but don't use his cooldowns just yet. So the boss has a 10% chance most turns to do AoE death. If he does that, it's game over. We just try again. Okay, that was good. We're going to shift Graph, and we're going to do some damage here. Okay, we're going to times 5, and then cap. We're going to support chain Tulian and C card. Now we could do the killer buff with Roca right now, but I don't want to over push, so I want to do a little bit less damage on turn 2. Yeah, this is good. Now we're going to use Roca to killer buff, dispel the boss, and haste. Folka is going to water resist and re-raise on Diverty, who will just reload. Okay. Please no AoE death. Okay, good. It's only a 10% chance per turn, but it happens a lot. So we're going to SLB on Graph, which allows him to burst yet again. Wait for this to finish. Okay, now we have killers and SLB buff. We're going to do a lot more damage now. Okay, perfect. Diverty is going to... Now he's going to do his cooldown mitigation. And we'll go back to doing immunity buffs with Folka. The boss does pretty much every status effect in the book. So that's why Folka's here. Also, the boss does mana drain, which is going to be a really big problem later in the fight. That's why we're using Folka. Okay, no death. Okay, so this turn, we're going to shift Diverty and use his shifted LB for the Earth Amplify field. We're going to use C card to then replace the enemy side with an Imperil field. We're going to SLB with Tulian. Graph on this turn can just refresh his mod boost. And then Folka can Magnus on Graph. And then we'll refresh the imbues, and we'll perfect dispel the boss. And then Folka, or Roca, and then Folka can just immunity buffs. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so on this turn, we're going to burst again. This is going to be the biggest burst. So we're going to support chain. Okay, we have all the buffs and SLBs and fields up at this point. We want to push them as close to 50 as possible without going over. So 1, 2, support chain. Oh, that is beautiful. That is as good as it gets. Now, the boss has a magic buff this turn, so we're going to use Roca to perfect dispel that. And then just... haste a few times. We'll use Diverty to cover, refill his LB, and then whatever. And then Folka, we'll do re-raise on Diverty, and we'll do a water resist buff. Okay, hoping for no death. We've got really good threshold management right now, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, no death, perfect. Turn 6, so now we're just going to be like mostly hanging out for a few turns. We need to break the boss. We're going to just guard you. Did the boss magic buff? He didn't, so we can just... We don't really need anything from Roca either, so we'll just like haste. Graph can just mod boost. I think we just did re-raise, so we can immunity buff. Diverty, and back in the base form, can now cover and mitigate. Okay. No AoE death. Okay, good. Turn 7. Nothing really to do on turn 7. This is like literally just like repeating. We do need to do the cooldown though. So cooldown on Diverty. And we want to refresh Re-Raise and Water Resist on Diverty as well. So Re-Raise. And it may seem like the boss is doing low damage, because he is at the moment, but it's RNG. He does have an AoE non-elemental really big attack in his possible moves that he's not using currently, but he can use it, and if it does, it sometimes kills Diverty. So yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to get ready for Burst soon. So now we're going to do both modifier boost on Graph. Wait for this to finish. Okay, then we're going to Rage Beast Roar them away, the imbues with C card. Now we're going to immunity buff with Folka. We dispelled our party. Let's see, Diverty on this turn can just cover and whatever. Let's see, turn 6. Okay, so we're going to break with Toolian. Okay. And then Roka is gonna SLB for the buffs, yeah. Okay. Okay, so as long as we don't get AoE death, we're gonna start setting up. Okay, so we're gonna shift Diverty, and now we're gonna get ready for the burst very soon. We're gonna shift Diverty, put up the Amplify field. We're gonna shift C card, replace the enemy side with an Imperil field. SLB tool in. If the threshold gets pushed at this point, I don't really care anymore. Let's see, Folka. I don't think we need immunity buffs. No, 4 turns. 1, 2. Yeah, we don't need immunity buffs anymore. So we're going to use Folka to water resist and re-raise for safety. Graph is going to just do his Earth mod boost again. And does the boss need a dispel? Yep, got a magic buff. Got a perfect dispel that. So we're going to imbue. We're going to killer. And we're going to perfect dispel that magic buff away. And okay, we begin our bursting right now, as long as no AoE death. Outstanding. Okay, so in phase 2, the boss begins healing. So we got to finish this crap out real quick. All right, so support chain, Toolian, and Sieg. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This. No magic buff. Okay. Okay. 24%. Not terrible. Could be better. Alright. Let's imbue. It's Magnus. I'm just a little concerned, like, turn 10. Oh, yeah, so we need to save. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna just guard you. There's the healing. Yeah, the healing's a pain in the ass. Yeah, cooldown 1 turn, so we have to do it this way. Alright, so we gotta push the boss to 10% or lower. This is we're a little bit off track here. Oh, exactly. Exactly. No healing this turn. Perfect. Alright, so we gotta do... How's the cover on Diverty? 2 turns. Okay, cover's good. So we're gonna do big cooldown for Magnus, big that, and imbue. Okay, Volca? This is gonna be fun. We have re-race still, right? Last turn of re-race, that's fine. Well, I'm just gonna do it anyway to be safe. And water resist. Okay. There goes the mana pool. Okay, so we break. We imperil field. We SLBU. Volca support chains. With bolting strike. Oh. Bolting strike. And use support chain. And we hope we do 10%. Got it. Oh my god, I got it. All mission. This was a pain in the ass to do. It looked easy. I promise you it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. 12 turns or less. I didn't do a 5-man team. I'll come back later for a slower clear. And then no items. The gear on the friend is irrelevant. Just, you know, it really is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. So thank you, Unable to. I'll show you the rest of the team in a moment. Thank you, Unable to. Thank you, Star King. Thank you, Deus. Thank you, Daikin. All the friends that built me Rokas, and friends for this trial, but finally got it done. Ooh, that was a pain. That was a pain. And grafted everything. They call it normal mode. It is not easy. It is not easy. Okay. And then the hard mode can piss right off. No. Okay, so I'll show you the gear and the team. So we had a Diverty with 500 or better water resist in both forms. The boss does a 600% water imperil, and then Folk is doing a 100% buff. So 500 or so is fine. You know, up to 600% plus the 100 buff is good as well. But yeah, there you go. Decentish Spirit. He chains Bolting Strike. He also does an Earth Amplify field, and he covers magic. Shift form, geared mostly the same, but the base form is using some auto limit with Lumina's STMR, so we can get his LB by turn 4 without really any help. Volca, Irony's Ring on an Esper for Stonega, which is Bolting Strike, or Stone Ra, which is now Bolting Strike frames, and she support chains on turn 12. She auto-cast AoE mana regen every turn, which is how we kept going. And she does all the immunity buffs and water resist, etc. We didn't use the shift form. And we gave her the auto-break accessory, Obsidian Bracer, so that the first few turns, the boss has a good magic break. Well, good being relative, but good enough. Graph in the base form. I was geared to like cap 1 turn in the base form, but we didn't actually need that, so that's kind of irrelevant. This is important, though. Not this item specifically, but a source of auto bravery. Any source you want. Wind up Yida or just the auto bravery Materia, Warrior of Lights, TMR. Give them auto bravery because we don't do a stat buff on the first few turns, and that's kind of important for the early part of the fight. Shift form is Stone Killer. Not Stone Killer, Plant Killer. 275 Plant Killer. He does need Trans-Terra's STMR for 50% mana reduction, because going into the turn 12, we have 0 mana, and Folka auto-refills 200, and you need 50% mana reduction so he can burst on turn 12. So Trans-Terra's STMR allows him to burst with only 200 mana remaining. Other than that, Chain Cap up, Plant Killer, Knight's Grand Shell card, and he did all the damage. C card is incredibly important because this idiotic plant trial has 230 to wind and earth resist, and even more to everything else. So the only way to really hurt him is to stack multiple wind or earth imperils. I don't have the new Emperor, so I went with an earth team. C card did a 25% earth imperil field in his shift form. He also was dual wielding with the Graviton Cannon STMR that we can chain, support chain. And yeah, he support chained some LB fill and Rage Beast Roar, so we can do the modifier boost on Graph and dispel the double imbue on turn 8. Shift form, whatever. Support chaining. He does need the Paintbrush and Call of the Wild. That way, between Roka with Roka's autocast and Roka's haste, we can LB the shift form on turn 1, and the shift form LB is where that 25% Earth Imperil field comes from. And then Tulian is dual wielding with, again, another copy of Lid and Jake's STMR, so we can support chain. His 88% break Bracer, so we can get an 88% break for the phase 2. He does, with his SLB, he does a 145% Earth Imperil. So between C card's field and Tulian's SLB, we had a 170% Earth Imperil, which is how we were able to hurt the boss in a meaningful way. And he also did breaks. He was our primary breaker. And yep, there was 2 out of 3 missions on normal mode. Hard mode is absolutely bonkers. At the current time of this video, as far as I'm aware, no one on the entire server has been able to beat hard mode at all. They just can't even beat it, period. Not even talking about the missions. Because it's so bulky and the boss heals so much on phase 2, no one's been able to out DPS the healing on hard mode. But anyway, there was the normal mode, 2 out of 3 missions. I didn't do a 5-man team. Forget that mission. I'll come back for that in a year and a half. Anyway, see you next time.